What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Camaro video. If you guys saw the thumbnails and the titles, that is right, guys. We went back out to Mexico and had some fun, but then also some frustrations. More on my part with frustrations because I just kept either messing up or having issues with the nitrous system. And so basically, long story short, is we blew some fuses again. If you've watched any of my previous videos, I had that happen before, and that has me having to basically rethink how this is wired up. Now, before we get farther in the video, guys, reminder, 2020 giveaway Grom is still live. You have until October 31st to make sure you get your entries. You can go down to the link in the description below, jorgesspeedshop.com, and there you'll find caps and shirts. Every $20 spent in the month of September, so you only have a few days left, is 2 times the entries. So make sure you go grab your shirt, grab your cap, support the channel. That's still not an excuse. We still went out there and we ran NA and had really good times, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys those videos here as we work through trying to modify the wiring a little bit on the car to help prevent any more blown fuses. But first of all, let's go ahead and talk real quick about how this setup is wired currently. And for that, we have to get here inside the car. As you guys can see, I'm already kind of getting things ready for the changes. But I've got the Gen 5 DIY harness for my radar detector here. And that harness had a 12-volt breakout that you could use for dash cams, things of that nature. And so that's what I ran down along the side under, and as you guys can see, I cut the wire there, and that fed the power to our switch here. Now this switch, all it's doing is running power to trigger relays. It's not actually pulling much load, but it must be triggering some bit of load, enough of a load that when the radar is on, the nitrous is on, and the relays are actually working, maybe they draw just enough current to blow fuses out. And one thing I noticed last night was with the AC on, it would blow the fuse. And so definitely had some issues there. Now I did look under here and I think there was also some shorts possibly here. I kind of fixed that, but I am tired of having fuses blown, so we're going to be doing the whole rewiring here and grabbing our switch 12-volt power source from a different source. Now, getting back to some of the runs from last night, guys, we did run a turbo Mustang on about 7 pounds. It was a S197, pretty cool car. The nitrous worked when I ran him, and it hadn't blown the fuse yet, and the car ran great. We were able to pull on him pretty easily, and he was on my opposite side, so I don't have my in-car video, but I'll try to put the video if I can get it from him before this video gets edited here next up. So that was a good run. And then after that Mustang run, we did run a C7Z. Awesome car. That car was just tune and intake, surprisingly ran very well. I mean, obviously it's boosted. Now he wanted an NA run with the Camaro, and so that's what we did. So it was an NA versus the C7Z on a tune and a intake, and here are the results of that. That was a really good run. We were neck and neck all the way through, guys. It was pretty much as people would shift, cargo would go forward or backward, and he was inching just ever so slightly at the very top end. But overall, I was super impressed by the Camaro, especially for it just being NA. Now let's go back and talk about what we plan on doing to hopefully fix this fuse issue that keeps blowing. What we're gonna do, guys, is actually, if we look here in the fuse box, the radar detector harness actually plugs into the heater AC system fuse, which happens to be the same fuse that I used for my wideband and my Aeroforce gauge, as you see here. So what we're gonna do is, instead of increasing the amp on this fuse and having it try to run everything using the AC and all that, we're gonna go ahead and finally do it what I would say is the more proper way, and just get it tied into our tapped harness. And you can see here I've already put a 20 amp fuse. So normally for your wideband gauges and your Aeroforce, you really only need 5 amps, but we're going to put a 20 amp here, and we're going to put that back, and we're going to, instead of tying in the power to my switch panel via the radar harness, via this radar harness, what we're going to do is we're going to tie it into the power that is coming from that tap of fuse, separate circuit completely, so that the power and everything on the nitrous system will be independent and tied into our gauges here. So what we're going to do is just, we already cut a wire there. I found the power wire under the dash for the gauges, so we just gotta cut that, splice them together, and then test to make sure that everything is still getting power where it needs to get it. And hopefully that'll take care of our nitrous fuse blowing issue, and we can go out and have a good time when we're running these cars. But anyways, let's get back to some of the runs, guys. After we ran the C7Z, we went ahead and we ran a V3, and I want to say it's mostly stock. It didn't seem like it had a lot of stuff done to it, and these were the results of that. It was pretty much what I would have expected from a stock V3. And then, of course, after that, we tried to run Hellcat, and it just, that's when I tried to use nitrous, and I had issues with my nitrous fuse and everything getting blown, and it just didn't really work out. Wasn't able to get any video of that, and it didn't really get a good run there, so I'm not even gonna bother showing you guys. But we did run a super clean C6 Z06. And during this run, guys, I actually had my valves completely closed. I had the setting on tour mode, which closes all the valves. So based on the dyno results, that's about 30 horsepower difference. And so we ran him, and he was able to just instantly pull on me. We were gonna do that run on nitrous. I had swapped out a fuse, and it blew that fuse again too. So it basically didn't come to fruition. I think a nitrous one would have been a lot cleaner for that car. Now that car has a very, very modified, highly modified heads cam built motor. Probably not stock cubic inch. It's a very, very fast car, and man, you just see it disappear in this run. So really need to get the nitrous working so we can do a rerun with him, and hopefully show you guys that in the future with the nitrous, so that we can get a better run, more even run with that guy. And then after the C6 Z06, we did run into 1700 Tito. And guys, if you don't know him, he is here in Houston as well. He's got an S550 Mustang that is from what we've seen, in the videos, the fastest NA Mustang in Houston. He's got a Cobra Jet, I believe it's headers E85, and a lot of weight reduction on that car. And I was still on my valves closed. I didn't realize we were on the closed valves, and the first run we were pretty much side by side the whole run, and I didn't get to record it on my video. I'm gonna see if I can get those videos again from him so I can put them on the video here, but it was neck and neck, side by side. Then afterwards I finally realized that the car was with the valves closed, so I went ahead and I turned them open, and when we ran again, it was a night and day difference, guys. The car was able to, I think I was able to pull probably about a car and a half on him, and it was way different with the valves open. So good runs with him, and that was just a cool thing to see the difference between the valves closed and the valves open, guys. It's a huge difference. Runs we had of the night were versus a turbo BMW on about 20 pounds, 22 pounds. Now I want to say the first run it was on 20 pounds, and I didn't get to record the first run, and hopefully I can get the video again from these guys. But the first run I was able to kind of pull up about half a car, but it was really close, and I pulled about half a car on him, maybe a car, I don't know, I can't recall, but I know I did pull slightly on the first run. And then we redid it again, and he must have turned up the boost a little bit, or he just left a little better that second time, because on the second run we were neck and neck, and towards the top end he would pull about a fender or so in front of me. So really good runs with that turbo BMW, and here's the runs on that. Okay, we are finished here. This right here, the heater buttons actually are two-step, so if I turn that on, you can see that it is got power right there. And if we arm the system, you can see we now have power in our controller, and our fuel pump is working. So everything is looking good, and we've got our nitrous system back. So now it's just a matter of basically going out and testing it and making sure that the nitrous is working properly. As long as we have power, everything is wired up the way that it should. So the nitrous system is back up and running. It's on its own circuit, so it's not going to be interfered by the AC or the radar or any of that stuff, which should be a lot better overall with the wiring. And it's working properly. So now we just have to try it out again. I mean, the rest of the wiring is flawless. The car, as long as the nitrous has power, runs very well. It's very controlled and does really well. Now, it's happened to me only a couple times. This is actually the second time where the fuse blew, so I think it was time to go ahead and make that little switch over, which is super simple and should help us basically have a much robust electrical power source going to the switch panel. Next time we go out to Mexico, guys, it won't be as bad, and we'll have the nitrous available and we'll be able to get some good runs. I do have a few things coming for the car. Hopefully it should be getting here sometime today, and that is some V-bands so that we can remove the rear exhaust a lot easier and be able to take it on and off for different events. So hopefully we can get that figured out or set up here this week, so that when we go back to the track, we can do a no rear muffler, no seats run, and see if we can maybe just maybe break into the 9.6s. So I'm super excited, and I can't wait to show you guys more and more content. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I don't know what you're waiting for. Get to it, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.